Happy Sunday. I know. Monday is tomorrow. I, but many of us, those of us that are unfortunate to not have won the lottery, it's work. Or very unfortunate to not have married into the royal family and not do any work like Kate Middleton. There's work. I hope you're all doing very well. I hope you've had a restful weekend. For those of you that are in London or even in the UK, I hope you're getting the sun that I'm enjoying. It's been a very interesting weekend. For those of you who watched my very long video, thank you. You may have heard me say that I was able to achieve something that I've been working on. I was very happy about it. So yeah, it's been a decent weekend. I'll take some more days off to try and balance it out because I'm feeling kind of exhausted. But yeah, from now until the next few videos, whenever I find decent reviews of with Love Megan, I will start my video with it just to give you guys, those of us who are very unfortunate to not be able to get it, whether you're in the US or abroad. I think it's us living vicariously and jealously through some of the lucky fans and haters who were able to purchase the items. So I'm going to post two reviews and I'm going to talk about the main reason we're having this particular video shortly. Here is review one.
New collection, as ever.
Onk!
With the release of her new collection,
As ever, Meghan Markle has received some justifiable criticism that calls into question. Psych! She's thriving, Margaret Hartman of New York. Do you recall all of the criticism that Meghan received during that beekeeping segment on her show? People were saying that it was fake and performative. Well, perhaps we can contact Brandon the beekeeper to get his views on how fake honey sold out within an hour of its release. She is doing the damn thing. It sold out.
Yep.
Within an hour of its release. I believe that all of the negative commentary and coverage that she received was just marketing and promotion. So thank you for all of your hard work. She's thriving. Margaret, hateful white lady Hartman, senior editor at New York. Thank you for all of your hard work. And these two submissions are just chef's kiss. Now shush and go away while we all enjoy this soft fairy tale life that you will never, ever experience.
Tea. And that's how we do it, ladies. We don't waste our time. We drag them. Well done. Let me play the other video. Yeah.
I just received products from Meghan Markle's lifestyle brand called As Ever, and let me tell you what I think. Whatever your opinion is about her, you gotta give credit. Look at the packaging and the branding of just the overall brand, exactly how it comes mailed. Actually really pretty. Raspberry jam looks like. It feels very regal. The raspberry jam, it smells so good. Good. You want to go and give this a try with a piece of toast and butter. Just about this, the ingredients are really clean. Raspberries, organic pure cane sugar, lemon juice, concentrate, and that's pretty much it. I think they did a really amazing job just keeping everything really nice and elevated. And they also have really beautiful cards signed by Meghan that come with all your orders.
Guys, so yeah, as many of them as I find, I'll post and share so we can all share with the joy. Fingers crossed and squaddies, the next restock will come out, and hopefully, I'll be honest, and it pains me to say this, realistically, I don't think we'll be able to get the perishables, but at the very least we should be able to get the tea, hopefully the honey, but the jam would have been the real prize. But I'm going to be patient because I know once they are able to get the international sorted out, we will have a taste of the jam. Now, ladies and gentlemen, let us talk about our favorite royal fuck up, Prince Andrew. Now, I usually ignore this man because there really isn't much to say. I think he's the one person that we can all internationally agree is just a waste of space at this point, a waste of privilege, a waste of money, just a general waste. But I found this whole shenanigans with the Chinese, with the alleged Chinese spy, quite interesting. And it drives a wider question on how infantilized members of the royal family that are not the heir are. Because the level of naivety and almost childish ridiculousness of this whole case is just baffling to me. This whole thing could have been avoided if if these people worked, if these people were allowed to have a proper career that was not built on trading off their royal connections. So yeah, we're going to look at just I think two articles, then I'll expand into a wider narrative on laziness and the royal family and the implications, the real implications it's causing. Buckingham Palace releases urgent statement concerning Prince Andrew, of course. Buckingham Palace has released a statement concerning Prince Andrew's alleged links to Chinese spy Yang Tengbo, as a former senior aide to the Duke of York provided evidence to an employment tribunal. As part of his written submission, Dominic Hampshire indicated that King Charles was aware of an investment fund that Yang was part of. The evidence said that on two occasions, Dominic and Andrew held meetings with the king to discuss the Eurasia Fund. Let me stop there because it's Hello Mag and I can't be bothered. And I'm like, what? So now they are dragging Charles into it. Interesting. Also, let's listen to this.
Very close with Yang Tengbo is purported to be a United Fund Work Department linked person. The United Fund Work Department is a department in the Chinese system which is supposed to exert influence outside of China, who's trying to facilitate policy discussion, public discourse to assist the Chinese Communist Party's agenda in terms of like policy making, lawmaking, and those kind of things. And Yang Tengbo is one of these typical examples of what he has done. So he has been seen very close with Theresa May, with David Cameron, seen in pictures with Lady Bates, seen with pictures with different like influential people that he posts online saying that, oh, I've talked to this person, I've talked to that person. And that is somehow like the classic elite capture scheme that they would operate. And it's not only about Yang Tengbo as a person, it's the United Fund Work Department, according to our own intelligence service, operates a whole of society in an infiltration model, targeting elites across politics, business, academia. So we are seeing Yang as a part of a bigger, longer-term strategy of trying to influence the UK through personal relationships and access. So we are actually lagging behind in terms of how we try to address this kind of issue in the UK.
And when was he excluded from the UK, and what for?
So he's excluded from the UK, according to the reporting, since last year, because he's been accused of using his influence with the royal family, which is Prince Andrew, not in a way that the authorities sees acceptable. And since then, he has been in a legal case with the authorities about whether or not he should be barred from entering the UK. And he denied all allegations of him being involved in any kind of infiltration or espionage programs.
And he did meet with Prince Andrew, according to this story, just in 2023, so not that long before he was excluded. But just to be clear, he never met the king. He never met King Charles.
Oh, sorry, that's my bad. He never met King Charles, but he has been with other royal family members, according to my memory, that he's been seen in photos and same events with them, but not the king. He's seen the queen though.
What threat do you believe in the Interparliamentary Alliance on China? What sort of threat do you believe that people like Yang Tengbo pose to the UK?
So the kind of threat we're not talking about, they're gonna steal state secrets or they're gonna like do something that's on the surface very bad. Usually these kind of infiltration happens through business investment programs, through cultural exchange, through like establishing personal relationship. And by having this kind of access, according to the paperwork that's disclosed by the court, even the embassy is aware of the fact that Yang sees Prince Andrew as a very valuable asset to achieve his goals. And you can see, like, from what we've seen in the golden era, there's a lot of projects being handed over or being commissioned to Chinese companies, to Chinese businesses, which at the end actually have a link or a close tie to the Chinese government or even the military sector in China. So you can see those slightly poses national security threats to the UK, not in a direct way. But if you dig deeper, you'll see, oh, this actually exposes UK and increased dependency because there are more investments, there are more businesses and more economic activities related to China. So this kind of infiltration is long term and in a very subtle way that we don't actually usually notice. It's not somehow like James Bond movie where you have like stealing state secrets and police chasing on the other hand. So it's quite not what we would think of when it comes to alleged.
So there's a point I'm trying to make here, right? We've spoken about this. Okay, so he was intentionally targeted. And then, of course, we're going to look at Feminegra's article. Let me quickly say something. There's a wider implication here about the royal family. And as we watch Meghan organically become quite a successful businesswoman in her own right, in the 3 months of this year, Meghan has had her cooking show. She's released her extremely successful brand, and now we are about to be introduced to her second season podcast around female entrepreneurship. If you look at that portfolio of work in 3 months, 4 months, that is spectacular. There's no other word for it. That is spectacular success. Spectacular success. Organic success. And what I mean by organic is this is a very good example of somebody who has taken this platform and has transformed it to value. Does that make sense? Hopefully I am making sense. The platform, whether or not you believe the nonsense in the media that Meghan they've called her gold digger. I'm not particularly sure how she's a gold digger. They've called her every name in this world. Everything they can to diminish the fact that whether or not she married into the royal family and was given such an international platform, she has been able to take that platform and use it to create real value. Right? And it's very important because it calls to question the mediocrity and continuous fumbles by members of the royal family. Prince Andrew would not this thing that happened with Prince Andrew, whether or not you believe that he's a pedo, would have still happened. Why? Because these are people who have nothing of value to offer this world but their name. And you would assume with the multi-million-dollar education senior members of the royal family get, they go to Eton, they go to the best universities, they get to network with some of the best people in the world in terms of wealth, opportunities, and minds. And yet, and I'm very sure by the very nature of who they are, they get a lot of individual special training about how to protect themselves from exploitation, how to protect themselves from, dangerous individuals. And yet, somehow, some of them, including Andrew and your future king, still manage to find a way to get into this type of scrape. Now, I'm going to read this article from Feminegra, and then I'll get to my point with and then I'll finish my point with Andrew. Prince Andrew linked to alleged Chinese spy after scandal ruined his reputation. I see. Prince Andrew is back in the spotlight after court documents revealed he formed a close relationship with a Chinese businessman accused of spying for Beijing. The man, Yang Tengbo, was banned from the UK on national security grounds, but not before gaining access to royal circles and forming deep ties with the Duke of York. The new discourse raises fresh concerns about foreign influence, royal judgment, yes, thank you, and double standards in British politics. Prince Andrew's damaged reputation opened the door. I see. You know how I just said it now? That regardless of whether you think he's a pedo or not, this was always going to happen. I can see that they found a new excuse to cover him for this thing for this insane thing that has happened. The fallout from Andrew's 2019 BBC Newsnight interview, where he tried to explain his ties to Jeffrey Epstein, left his public image in ruins. Ruins is ruins is not a strong enough word in my opinion. The interview was widely mocked and caused lasting damage. He was forced to step back from royal duties and lost many of his public roles. According to documents from the UK Special Immigration Appeals Commission, this reputational collapse made him despair to repair his image and finances. His own aide, Dominic Hampshire, described Andrew's position as irrecoverable. Is it worth playing this? Let me see.
So you're absolutely sure that you're at home on the 10th of
Yeah, let's
March?
play it so we can drag and
She was very specific about that night. She described dancing with you and you profusely sweating, and that she went on to have baths, possibly.
There's a slight problem with the sweating, because I have a peculiar medical condition, which is that I don't sweat, or I didn't sweat at the time, and that was, actually, yes, I didn't sweat at the time, because I had suffered what I would describe as an overdose of adrenaline in the Falklands War when I was shot at. And I simply, it was almost impossible for me to sweat. And it's only because I have done a number of things in the recent past that I'm starting to be able to do that again. So I'm afraid to say that there's a medical condition that says that I didn't do it, so therefore.
I will never be able to get over that. For those of you, all of you wouldn't have known me. I was with some friends in Dublin, and I was going for a walk when this interview aired. So I didn't get to react to it in real time. But YouTube, X or Twitter that day I was dying of laughter. I don't think I slept like 2 a.m. I was reading all the memes. You guys on the internet are hilarious. Anyway, it's been over almost 6 years since this interview. I still cannot get over the fact that this man said on international TV that he does not sweat. A living, breathing human being said that he does not sweat. This is where we are, guys. And this is what, again, it just ties into the points around the way this education of moral superiority these people in the royal family are bred with. This idea that he could even say something as ridiculous as that, not offer any medical evidence to say, look, I know what I'm saying sounds preposterous, sounds ridiculous. Look, I have medical evidence. I can show what I'm saying is true. This is how much they look down on us. And from for those of you who watched the full interview, apparently after that interview he was in such good spirits. He took the entire crew round for a mini tour, or at least offered to take them round for a mini tour round. I think I forget where they had this interview, maybe the palace they had this interview, and I was like, this man's anyway, I won't rehash that. Let's continue reading. Anyway, after that fiasco of an interview, that the desperation the court suggests may have led him into the arms of Yang Tengbo. Oh my goodness. So Liang Tengbo was this seduced a stupid Andrew who was emotionally vulnerable at the time into not doing his due diligence and allowing somebody who is an alleged spy into his inner circle. Right, okay. Anyway, a Chinese businessman who British authorities now accuse of being a spy, also, okay, like I said, alleged. Andrew and Yang formed what officials call an unusual degree of trust. Their relationship began as early as 2012 and continued for years, even after Andrew left his role as UK trade envoy. That's very interesting. So according to what was just said now, they've tried to defend Andrew, not knowing that he was dealing with an alleged spy because he was emotionally vulnerable after an interview he volunteered to give. Right. But he's known this man for over a decade before the interview took place. Okay. The Chinese spy gained deep access to royal circles. Yang was not just a casual acquaintance. He was granted access to Buckingham Palace, St. James's Palace, and the Windsor Castle. He even attended Prince Andrew's 60th birthday celebration. More than that, Yang was reportedly allowed to act on Andrew's behalf on business talks with Chinese investors. One letter from Hampshire to Yang found on Yang's phone in 2021 praised his loyalty and described him as being at the very top of a tree within Andrew's inner circle. So he was so close to Andrew, he was able to interact with Yang, with his aide. Okay. The two men worked together on the Eurasia Fund, an initiative that aimed to build investment ties with China. These connections continued even after intelligence services raised concerns. Despite Andrew's office later claiming that he stopped contact with Yang once he was warned, the timeline remains unclear. That's not true. I'm very sure they know exactly what happened. Yang's influence appeared to grow during that time, during the time Andrew was most isolated from the public eye. Right. So they are selling this story again as a vulnerable Andrew. This man was in his 50s, 60s when he gave that interview on the BBC, but he was a vulnerable, delicate flower who was taken advantage of by a Chinese businessman. Oh, woe is me. That is racist in my mind and borderline offensive to both Yang and Andrew. The implication, because Andrew is a member of the royal family, he was too emotionally stupid to know how to protect himself, is yet another way the media coddles the royal family when they make very blatantly stupid mistakes. National security concerns forced Yang out of the UK. In March 2023, then Home Secretary Suella Braverman acted on MI5 advice and banned Yang from entering the UK. Intelligence officers had raised concerns about Yang's ties to the Chinese Communist Party United Front Work Department, which works to extend Beijing's political influence overseas. In December 2024, a court upheld the ban, saying Yang posed a national security risk. The court warned that he used relationships with high-profile UK figures, including Prince Andrew, for political gain. The Chinese embassy dismissed these allegations as political fiction, accusing the UK of trying to stir anti-China sentiment. Yang also denied the claims that he had done anything illegal. Still, the damage was done. His ties to Andrew became national story, raising difficult questions for the royal family. Royal damage control and political double standards. Newly released documents show that Prince Andrew and his advisor secretly entered Windsor Castle to meet the king. Dominic Hampshire, Andrew's aide, confirmed they discussed the Eurasia Fund and businessman Aidan Heavey with the king during both meetings. For those of you who may have missed it, that lady just now said that there is no evidence that Yang met with King Andrew, but it's just come out today, or was it yesterday, that actually he did meet with King Andrew. With King Charles. The documents also revealed the Queen of England encouraged the Duke to maintain regular contact with his advisor, calling the communication useful. As Andrew struggled with his damaged reputation, financial pressure, and reduced royal support, he opened himself up to foreign operatives, offering business deals and financial assistance. Wow. Reports claim King Charles has grown frustrated with his brother and plans to exclude him from key events like the Christmas walk in Sandringham. Yes, that will show him. The scandal has also reignited debate about the hypocrisy in UK's political system. The court has confirmed Andrew's links to Chinese spy, while David Cameron and Theresa May also engaged Yang. At the same time, critics once painted former leader Jeremy Corbyn as a national security threat based on far weaker evidence. The double standard is hard to ignore indeed. Prince Andrew's judgment remains in question. This is not the first time Prince Andrew's judgment has come under fire. From the Epstein fiasco to his settlement with Virginia Giuffre, he has repeatedly attracted controversy. Now, the link to an alleged Chinese spy raises the stakes even further. Whether poorly thought through process choices, financial pressure, or sheer arrogance, Andrew has once again put the monarchy in an awkward position. The latest revelations show how far-reaching the consequences of one failed interview can be. They also show how power, wealth, and desperation can open doors to foreign influence. For Prince Andrew, the road back to respectability seems further away than ever. I would say that there is no road back to respectability, frankly. And again, to my point earlier that I was trying to make about the problem with allowing these people to continue to live like this. Prince, I don't buy the nonsense that, oh, well, because Andrew was growing desperate, he was taken advantage of. He knew this guy well in advance of that interview, a decade in advance of that interview. So let's stop there. I think what's happened here is really, to my point earlier, right? The way the royal family is allowed to exist needs to change if they want to survive. Personally, I think the only reason why the monarchy will survive beyond William is because the British press will not let it go. Frankly, they all need to make a living. I think people are over it. If you remember from yesterday, I was saying that the one thing that will come out of the Trump tariffs, the inevitable recession, if he does not back down, and it will be a severe recession, probably the worst the world has seen, because these tariffs are hitting everyone. What's going to come out of it is people are going to start asking a lot of very hard questions. I just gave you guys a timeline around how Meghan, in 4 months, was able to launch 3 products: her cooking show, her lifestyle brand, which has already been wildly successful. It's not even been out up to a week. Everything that they had in their first stock has gone. And now she's bringing out a podcast. Thanks to all the hype she has organically generated over the years, thanks to the hating, thanks to the unnecessary amount of scrutiny the British media have put, and the world have put on her, they have made this woman a juggernaut. And she has taken advantage of that press and used it to start to build a legacy for herself and for her family. So the ambitions they accuse Meghan of, which, when did it become a bad thing for a woman to have ambitions, ladies and gentlemen? The ambitions they've accused Meghan of, you can literally see them. Ambitions to do well. What's wrong with that? And I think the reason why the royal family, through Andrew, you're using Andrew as a point of contact, because let's not get it twisted, they all have the same skeleton in their closet. The only thing for Andrew, unfortunately, is because of the whole Virginia Giuffre, the whole BBC interview, the Jeffrey Epstein of it all. That's why his business is coming out like this. Let's be for real. If Andrew is having all this mess, you think Charles is clean? Wasn't it Charles they were using his Prince's Trust charity to give him briefcases of cash? And that's the one that we saw. How about all the dealings? Don't forget, they said it here, that Andrew and King Charles met with Yang, with the Eurasia Fund. Do we even know what the Eurasia Fund is for? What is it fronting as? So that's my point, guys. People need to start questioning these people. Stop waiting for the British media, because they're not going to do their job. Independent people like myself and others that are better equipped need to start. We need to start amplifying this news. I know we started off with Meghan, but to me, the wider question is, if Duchess Meghan can take the platform she's been given, and don't forget, she didn't grow up in this family, and turn it into a very successful line of business ventures, then what is stopping the royal family, who get a lot of media attention, have access to a lot of money, from doing the same? Do you know what's stopping them? Us. We are not shouting loud enough. We are allowing the British media to not follow up on stories like this. I can bet you in a matter of time, because the King Charles has been implicated now, we probably won't see the story in the media tomorrow. All of a sudden, you can't find any articles on Prince Andrew, Eurasia, and the King. We need to keep the momentum going. We need to understand, what exactly does Kate Middleton do? We need to understand, when they bring up all these charities like Earthshot, early years initiatives, because these people are barely working. So where is all the money coming from? Are they fronts? Are they using them as fronts for illicit business dealings? Are they using them as fronts to avoid paying taxes? Are they using them as fronts to hide how they are moving money around? And for those of you that are wondering, how is this any of my business? These are tax-funded people. Our taxes are paying for them. We are about to go into a global recession. A lot of questions need to be asked. Do we need to be coddling members of the royal family like this? The excuse of an accident of birth cannot be enough. We need to start putting them to work. You want all that privilege, you want all that pomp and circumstance, start giving us an audit of the work you do. And the less work you do, we begin to cut off your money. And the money cannot be managed by Charles. It needs to be managed by the government, so that we can keep an eye on things. But I don't know, what do you guys think? Am I calling for a revolution? Is it unreasonable for me? I don't think so. If Duchess Meghan, who wasn't born into this family, can build a very successful brand, amongst other things, using the platform that she has been given, marrying into the royal family. What is the excuse for all the other leeches? Please let me know your thoughts. Is this too controversial? Please like, subscribe, and share. And yeah, let's catch up later. Take care.